as a bloke, you think you might not need to know about it, but actually you do, because, my partner's going to go through this at some point. Everybody's will. So, and everybody, and every female has to go through it. So, yeah, we're talking about menopause, right?
Yep, menopause and perimenopause, actually. So there's two distinct elements to it that we kind of need to cover.
Yeah. And we're also going to talk about the like kind of training around it as well, but it's not necessarily all about that, because everyone's got to go through it anyway, right? So it doesn't matter if you're actively training or not.
No.
But we kind of want to get across that you still can't you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think at this point, I just do want to caveat, I am not an expert. Okay, so I have not got any qualifications in what I'm talking about, but what I am talking about is my own experiences. So I hit 50 in September, and basically over the last, I would say, looking back on it, over the last 4 to 5 years, I've noticed a number of symptoms and a number of issues creeping in, which some have impacted on my training, some have impacted on my personal life. And it got to a point where I thought, actually, I need to understand more about what is going on in my body and why this is happening. But also from a coaching perspective, a lot of the women that I coach are similar age. I suppose you attract that age group. They're my age or older, or, and we're all beginning to head on down this journey of what the perimenopause is and what the menopause is. So really, that's really important to understand. I'm not an expert in the true context, but I'm becoming an expert in my own right because of what I'm going through, and also helping to support others. So for me, I think
James has got his hammer up.
Go on. What?
So yeah, I was just going to say. So first off, can you actually describe what perimenopause is and what menopause is, and the difference? Because especially as men, we hear these things. And some men it will go just fly over their heads, and you think you know what something is, and you don't necessarily know. So if you can explain that to begin with, that'd be brilliant.
So perimenopause, in essence, is the precursor to menopause. Okay, and in anyone who is 40 plus, any woman who is 40 plus, to a lesser or greater extent, will have some perimenopausal symptoms. Now, you might not even know about it in your early 40s. And actually, to be fair, I don't think it really became evident to me till I was about 47, 48. But once you get to your mid 40s, the basic issue that's happening is that your estrogen levels, which all the way along throughout, once you start having your periods from the age of 13, 14 or even younger, your estrogen levels gradually start to taper off. And with that dip in estrogen, there becomes symptoms and issues that can arise as a result of that dip in estrogen. But the thing about this dip in estrogen is it doesn't just do that. It doesn't just go down. It can go down and up within the wave of going down. So the perimenopause, you can have days where you feel absolutely 100% as a woman and you don't experience any symptoms, and you can wake up the next day and feel like you're in a really dark hole, or other symptoms, which we'll talk about as we move forward. So the perimenopause can go on for 10, 12, 15 years. And then you get to a point where your periods stop, and then and again, this is where I'm not the expert, because it varies according to which websites you look at. But once you've not had periods for, I think it's 2 years, you're then considered menopausal.